Is it 2 or 3 gargoyles that you can control at the same time? If one person can get 3, a whole group could get 15, right? Well, to start, there's only 8. Technically 7, because the 6th one is a nuisance to access, but we'll get back to him later. There's 2 before the 3rd boss, and I recommend using them on her, which then leaves 5 available to get creative with before the 1st boss. So my first attempt, I wanted to do this with no buffs, so no drums, or using Incarn, which gives me a 30% haste increase, and I had cleared this already on a normal run, or on normal difficulty, just so I could be able to do this with a little difficulty. This last one right here is easy to get as long as you clear out this little gravestone area, which I'd say is worth it to do, because you don't end up pulling the Obliterator or Dark Blade ahead of time. I end up waiting for the 5 to fully get together before spamming the button. As you see, I can only get a 1.6 second cast, and which only allows me to get 2 out of 5 mind controlled. But that's nothing exciting, so let's move on to all of the haste buffs I can muster as Bear. So I'm able to use Incarn with a Conduit, which increases my haste by 30%. Then there's also having Lust, which enables me to get the haste benefit from IQD. And so I end up using Drums, IQD, and then Incarn. So I managed to forget to record my haste through this process, but according to WoW Armory, I have 24%. And then I have 15% gain from drums, and then the 30% gain from Incarn, and then whatever IQD gives, which ends up allowing me to have a 0.92 second cast, which allows me to get 3 of them. But what if I had help from another Venthyr? So I went to general chat and asked around and found a friendly rogue who was willing to help answer my inquiring mind. So we re-cleared the dungeon and agreed on what to do with the countdown, and I managed to only press drums. I forgot to press my other haste cooldowns, so I only ended up having a 1.4 second cast, but together we were able to get a 4. So let's see what happens if we can get some assistance from a Venthyr mage instead. So I had a buddy that was able to set up his mage and Venthyr and had him take the 2 purple ones while I took the 3 green ones. When setting up, we made sure to stand slightly away from each other to make sure that we weren't overlapping casts. And I also did better to use more of my cooldowns, but I mistimed using my IQD, so I ended up getting the burst benefit instead of the haste benefit. So the cast time only ended up being 0.96 seconds. So not sure what it could have been in the long run, but we still only managed to grab 2 even with having Lust over drums. But even still, the maximum seems to be 4. So why not get the 6th gargoyle? Well, look at it. The results just would be bad. Usually you have the percentage by the time you make it to this point, so everything would be extra. And not to mention the fact that there are patrols such as the Stoneborn Slasher and the Ankle Biters that just make it that much riskier and not worth getting. So say goodbye to this guy. So there are a few benefits to getting the 5th gargoyle before coming up here, because then the Obliterator and Dark Blade aren't spawned yet, so you can pull him without aggroing them. And if you use the Loyal Stoneborn ability, you'll end up social aggroing the 2 mobs just because he turns friendly and is in close area to them. So it's better to just grab him before they exist and use him before he causes an issue like this, trying to sneak through here, and like he doesn't gain any benefit from camo and social aggros. So yeah, it's just better to use this guy on the first boss or something rather than later, which could lead to unnecessary group wipes, which is unnecessary time loss, which may end up making it so that you downgrade your key, and no one wants that. So what about Mage's Invisibility? If you look on the Mythic Dungeons tool in the tooltip, you can see that it's something that they can be affected by. So will they be affected by the Mage's Invisibility? So I did a quick test clearing it out on normal for my mage, and I mean, I guess the results will go as is. Made sure to wait the entire time for full invisibility, but then just running up and all the groundskeepers aggro. So I mean, it was worth a shot, but definitely not worthwhile trying to do any skips while grabbing the stone boards, that's for sure. So what are the takeaways from this video? I'd say make sure to grab this 5th one from beyond the stairs for the use on the first boss, and try to use as many of them as you can with Lust because they benefit from Lust, so you get more damage out of them. And try to grab them immediately after using Lust if you're doing it solo, because max you can grab with 1 Venthyr is 3, and the max with 2 Venthyr is 4. So who knows, maybe the max with 3 Venthyr could be 5, but let's be honest, it's hard getting 1 Venthyr for a group. And the rest of this is just me soloing the boss on normal, but by the time these first ones come out, he'll do his sunlight refractor beam things, I forget what it's called, but by that time it's 45 seconds, so the first oil storm thorns disappear, and you're able to grab the last one in the back of the room, and I use him to help finish off the rest of the fight. But otherwise, that's the end of this video. I hope you learned something today with the journey of me figuring out how many Loyal Stoneborns you can grab at the same time. So if you liked it as well, leave one for me, or potentially even subscribe. Everything helps, so with that note, have a great day. Wait a minute, did it say that these were affected by Beast Cleave?